Hello and welcome to the Troyiverse. This is Ep6, and I just want to say welcome back again. Um, I think I want to start this podcast off addressing um, something that I've been learning, that I've learned. It's not something I just learned, it's something I learned recently, but it's definitely a reoccurring lesson that is popping up for me within this new endeavor with this podcast is exactly, and also other things like arguments and disgruntled situations that was happening between me and my blood family. But when new, it's funny because I want to correlate this into a movie reference that me and my brother was talking about yesterday. By the way, today is November 18th. Um, I just premiered episode 5 today, so if you just hearing it today or it, hearing today's podcast on the next week that I post it, that's usually how I do it. The only time I actually post the podcast, only time I actually record it and actually air the podcast, like right after itself, was the first one. I actually did that on October 30th, and I'm sorry, I did that. I did that actually on Halloween. Yeah, I actually did it on Halloween. I actually recorded it and then posted it, and then went out with my brother and celebrated that day. But the next one I actually did the 2 days later. I think on like the second or the third. Something like that. I think it was the second. I did episode 2 and 3 on the second, and then I posted episode 2 on the fourth. But then I had episode 4 that I did on like the ninth, I believe. And I posted on the 14th, and then I posted my brother's birthday on November 13th is when I recorded episode 5, and I just you know premiered it today on the 18th. So for me, once again, I live these experiences of these stories and the stuff that I'm sharing and I'm giving out to the world. However, I keep forgetting because of my lack of community and back and forth with a lot of different people that don't know my story. I keep forgetting that, oh yeah, y'all have to like hear these stories for the first time. You have to process these stories for the first time. You have to sit with these stories. Um, and of course, me already being a writer, um, I understand the concept of when you put out your when you put out your work, when you put out your art, when you put out yourself, you are you have to come to an understanding somewhere along the lines, before, during, or after, that what you put out in the world will be um, looked at, and it will be personalized, and people's perspective will, you know, intuitively just make up their own stories and their own interpretations of what your work is. And I've already lived through it, I already experienced it, I already processed it, I already let it go. That's why I'm able to actually communicate and speak about these instances in my life and my Troy stories, because these are just footnotes in the whole totality of who I am as Troy, as Troyverse. Like, I wouldn't be able to be who I am now and be able to talk about what I can talk about and experience the things I'm experiencing now after expressing either the joys, the pains, my taking accountability for my faults, and also pretty much setting the story straight of what actually happened, and not just the fact of multiple people in multiple areas of multiple ages of my life dictating to everyone else or expressing to everyone else some fabricated story about me. And that's something that I've learned growing up. Something I said before, which was never measure yourself off of somebody else's ruler, but also don't let people tell your story. It's your story. No one has the right to make you into what they perceive you to be, because every single person that meets you only get like a layer of who you are. It's always like, I call it, like I said before, I call it the living multiverse or the living omniverse, because when it comes down to it, like, no one really gets the full totality of who you are. Like, your parents give birth to you, but they only know you from their archetype of look you, and that is their outlook of who you are, regardless of the stuff that you're not giving to them or the stuff that you know, can't give to them. They see what they can get from you, and that's what they get. And I'm not saying this as a negative thing because everybody wants or feels, not everybody, let me take that back because I don't like generalizing, but like a lot of people want to feel connected to something. And like I said before, looking at everything that I experience, I know I want to connect with people. I try to in every way I can. But regardless of my inadequacies to be able to accomplish that fully, for my complete comfort level to feel free and feel okay, it's a thing of me getting to the point of just looking within myself and saying that the reason why I'm doing this podcast again is like just to talk about myself in a way to bridge a gap for other people to understand that, you know, we all have a past, we all have life, we all live this life, and everyone's journey is their own singular journey. And it would be wrong for me to look at somebody's life that doesn't compare to mine, or somebody's life that's better than mine, or somebody's life that's worse than mine, and then to judge them and look and point a finger and say, "Look at you, you messed up your life, you ruined your life." Because realistically, like everyone's life is theirs to figure out. Like I said before, about I see I see life as a video game. And you can't, for all the gamers out there who know, you can't get your trophies or your achievements or what like that to get a platinum status on the game for the first time you ever played it. So why do we give ourselves these criterias in actual real life where the real stakes is real? Like at least that's what we're told, that this is one life to live and you have to make sure you do the best of it, blah, blah. So, okay, cool. If we got to do the best of it, then we're going to learn lessons. And these lessons are not going to have a thing where we do it accurately the first time, as well as I've talked to so many friends and people that over the years, and acquaintances over the years, and strangers over the years, that was just like, I feel like I was left out of something. Like, and I say this myself. This is how the conversation usually starts. It's usually me saying, you know, it's funny. So many people can like buy a home. I see friends of all ages like buying homes and getting blah blah. And I'm like, I feel like everybody went into like some type of mortgage class to like learn how to like get escrow and get a house and blah blah. Blah. And I was like, I never was taught that. I never knew. I was like, maybe I was sick that day when they was teaching that in school, or maybe you know, I passed out, I fell asleep or something. I don't know. I just never felt like I was present when those instructions or rules was given out. And then I noticed a lot of people were saying the same thing. Like, no, I had to learn that too myself. I had to learn this myself. There's a lot of things that other people take for granted that do stuff, and they just assume that just because they know it, that everybody else know it, and then they want to look down on everybody else because they don't take the understanding to think that, hey, just because I brush my teeth up and down, that doesn't mean everybody else does. Everybody else might do it left to right or right to left or in circles. And I mean, hell, most people probably only fucking brush their teeth. They probably just use mouthwash. I brush my teeth and use mouthwash just to, you know, hygiene is a thing. I hate smells. The smell bad. So I don't, I have a smell quirk. I don't like smells. It's just my thing. Not personal to anybody else. It's just, you can smell like daisies. I'd be like, I don't like the smell of daisies. And sorry, I just don't want to be around you. But anyway, digress. It comes to a point of just understanding that don't, for me, I had to not let or not allow myself to be bogged down or to be influenced by other people's ideas or concepts of what my life should be, because this is something that me and my brother say a lot. Um, I made it up, but at the same time, like it was from the ad, the Rockstar ad. Like you can't go into like an office space and call yourself a rock star because degrading to rock stars everywhere. But like I live a rock star life. Like me and my best friend, me and my brother live a rock star life. Like, and that's not like boasting or bragging. It's just like a lot of stuff that we do. A lot of people can't understand, and a lot of people can't like comprehend. But I told somebody a story today, and I was like telling them like, which I'm gonna tell that story later on when I get into like my 30s and more provocative adult era of my life. But I was telling them a story today. I was like, yeah, it was, X person was possibly, if everything went well, me and X's also companion would have ended up me messing with the companion and probably X watching. Like, there are people that are into, being in cutlery. I'm going to say cutlery because I haven't edited this for this to be 18 and up yet, so I'm just going to say cutlery. But yeah, uh, when I get into like my more provocative age, I'll make sure I change this so it's no longer somebody that can be 18 or younger to listen to this. But until then, I'll censor that part. But yeah, oh my God, it's hailing out here. I'm at my park and it just started hailing. I was like, is it rain? No, it's hail, which is cool. I'm okay with hail. So I'm okay. Never mind. I'm not gonna repeat that. So, anyway, I was just it was just something that, and the reason why I was so keyed in to talk about this. It's so funny. I wonder if there's gonna be plopping on my mic and you can hear it. But anyway, the reason why I was talking about this because there's a podcast I listen to that I'm a fan of. It's by Michael Rosenbaum, the actor who played Lex Luthor in Smallville. Um, the podcast is called Inside of You. It's great. He actually had his co-star Allison Mack, who was Chloe in the Smallville show, and it was really fantastic because I'm not sure if you're abreast or aware of the situation that she was in, but she was in a cult and she got arrested and she was locked up for like 3 years and like that's her story. I'm not going to tell her story. That's her story, but she was able to finally tell her story again. Like she told it on another podcast that she's associated with, but this was the first time she went out and talked to somebody that was one from her past and two from like that will be able to listen. And she said it in the interview. Like I implore you to go listen to that whole interview. It's honestly the same amount of time as mine, so it's an hour and 15 minutes. So I mean, if you can listen to me after that, my stuff. I keenly say support that as well because everybody's story needs to be heard, and that's exactly what I'm doing on mine. And that was why Michael Rosenbaum actually asked her to come because he was like, everybody, everybody can make assumptions about everybody's life because they have a little bit of knowledge of what they know, or they hear one side of the story, or they hear some fabricated fucking truth of the story. But until you hear both sides, or I mean, more importantly for me, I record everything now. I would let you know I'm recording everything, but since you're on the podcast, since you listen to the podcast, let this be the warning, let this be the thing that no, like, yeah, I record everything because of the fact that there's too many people who lie and try to make me out to be some type of demon or monster or something that I'm not, and to portray that I did things that I didn't do or allege things I did not do, but because we have this weird concept of cancel culture. Don't get me wrong. When cancel culture first came out, I was with it. I was all for it. Because, I mean, point blank period, you do something wrong, take accountability for it. If you can't take accountability for it, if you still feel like you didn't do anything wrong, when everybody's literally being like, yo, no, that's fucked up. Like, we got evidence of people seeing you do fucked up shit. Like, that's fucked up. Don't do that shit. And they like, nah, this is who I am. Then, all right, cool. Like, get the fuck out of here. Because we don't need that type of energy. But if it's something that somebody did, and then they like, oh shit, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that affected you that way. I didn't know that was that bothered you in that situation. I apologize. But then the person is like, I don't give a fuck you apologize or not. I won't ruin your fucking life. That's fucked up. But then the worst case scenario is the things that I've been through is where I didn't do anything. Or I was misinterpreted in saying something else. If I'm talking about sex and sexuality, somebody will take it upon themselves to automatically take it a mirror and throw their fucking despicable selves or their despicable thoughts and then throw it on me. Like, oh yeah, I'm okay with talking about sex and sexuality. Oh, then you must be okay with X, Y, and Z. I never said that. Oh no, Troy's okay with doing X, Y, and Z. No, the fuck I'm not. Don't tell people that. Oh, I'm telling everybody that because that's who you are in my head. Because your reflection of who you are is reflecting my hypocrite nature. It's because I don't feel comfortable talking about those things, but you do. So clearly, you must be thinking the same thing I'm thinking about. And no, I'm not. I'm Troy. I think of the things I think about. At the time, I'm thinking about my omniverse of books I'm creating and the characters I'm building up on. Hence why I call myself Troyiverse the deity. Because for everybody who has read my book, I appreciate the support, and I will guaranteedly say I am writing more, and more is coming down the lines. And I would definitely say, please, like share them out. If you liked it, share it. That's something that I am really a big proponent of right now. Like, if you like something on social media, share it out on social media because you just liking somebody post is great and it's fantastic. We love that. Like, but at the same time, like it when it stops with you just liking it, how can it reach the people that could also help the person that's creating stuff? You never know what you're stopping by stopping somebody's blessing by just not sharing. I mean, we all know what social media is because we were told what social media is. However, we're all human beings. Like we can walk and talk and chew gum at the same time. I mean, that's three things. I mean, I know it's tough for two things for sometimes, but like we can do that. I mean, it's possible. We can learn it. I do it a lot, but like when it comes down to it, like why do we have to be indoctrinated to believe that we can only do one thing because that's what they was told us we can only do? Like they literally made the movie about Facebook. They called it a social network. The WWW stands for World Wide Web. Like this is all connected, but we play like this soulless drones that just watching media when we should be creating a network, a phalanx, where we can communicate and connect with each other. We should be sharing each other's stuff out. Like I'm making my stuff, yes, for myself, but yes, I'm also making this podcast so I can share out and find my tribe, find my found family. So if everybody's listening to it, but everybody's saying, "Oh yeah, that's a great podcast," but they're not sharing it out. How am I supposed to get the tribe? Like, what are you here for? I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel like this is a light show. This is a 3D light show where our photons throwing through a, double slit experiment of just understanding who we are and what we are. But at the same time, like, share out the stuff. I mean, I think that's why I feel like I'm so confused by people because I'm like, y'all not, and then when I say y'all, I exclude myself because I share y'all stuff and other people's stuff. But like y'all are so quick to share superstar stuff, the Rihannas, the Beyonces, the Jay Z's, and the J Cole's, and all like No Doubt and Gwen Stefani and SZA and everybody else, and it's like they have money, guys. Y'all know they have money because y'all buy their stuff. The people that y'all know don't have money, and y'all know this because we're all in the same book. So if you know the people that you know don't have money, why are you not sharing their stuff? Because literally, I'm going to give you an example. I told my brother this yesterday. There's a there's a personality, a creator, content creator on TikTok, and I don't want to butcher her name, but she's a phenomenal artist. The next podcast, I'm probably going to write out a list of all the people that I actually watch and support, so I can actually put them on my podcast, so I can actually support them as well. But like, if you go on my TikTok, that's all I do. Like, I go on people's pages, I share their stuff, I link their stuff, I comment on their stuff, I save their stuff because I understand how it feels to create stuff and nobody support it. Nobody share it. Everybody just want to like, oh, that's nice. Like it's a macaroni collage that you want to put on a refrigerator. Like we're adults trying to find our whimsy, trying to find like something that make us feel safe and calm and relaxed and like calm our nervous systems. And we're trying to share this out in the world to find out if there's other people like us who also do these things because we can communicate with these people. So we can say, hey, we have a community because we're alone. That's why we're pitting ourselves up on social media. I don't understand how that's not clicking. So yeah, it's I would assume once again the assumption made me an asshole, but because how I am and my neurodivergent typical tendencies, like I'm like, oh, it just makes sense that we're all on social media. We all share stuff anyway. Why not share the stuff that you say you care about, or the people you say you care about? Why not share the stuff out? But then I also took, some time to think about that and learn about that and understand that. And it was one of those things that like I had to take accountability for myself. And that was the thing on what it came down to. And accountability on myself was understanding that, oh yeah, like I'm shooting my shot, but if I'm shooting my shot in the black holes, my shots are never going to go anywhere because this is going to go into the black hole and just be in a void for eternity. And that's what I was surrounded by. It was great because it was a double-edged sword because I was basically in a Faraday cage of black holes surrounded me because I never could get my stuff out because everybody that I confided into, everybody I cared about, they would just not share, not engage, not communicate. Like even when we had a conversation or we would talk on messengers or talk on an Instagram message or I would share their stuff or I would communicate with them or I would share other stuff like informative stuff, science stuff or like that. You know, it's one day when I have my YouTube page, I will pull out the evidence of like how I don't get talked to by people, and it'll be so funny and interesting when I have my family and my tribe and stuff like that, and being like the different feelings of what that's going to bring, and you know how much support and love that's going to engage and I want to encounter. Like I'm so grateful because I know it's coming. Like I know today is a momentous day of change for me. Like everything is aligned with me feeling the win. Like and when I say feeling the win, like I won. Like I came out of so much stuff. Like y'all have no idea the things that I experienced and the things that I went through. And I will share all these things, and I'm looking forward to sharing all these things. But the fact of the matter is, now where I'm at, it's so beautiful. Like I'm so grateful. Like it really feels like honestly, it feels like as soon as I got to the understanding and the point of saying that I love myself. I'm in love with myself. It got to a thing where like my inner love basically loved me back, and the inward expression of that love and being in love with myself became an outward expression, and now it's like the world is showing. Like I here in episode 5, I started out talking about how I'm in my park, I'm in my area where I like to do a podcast. I'm here again, of course, but like I seen a deer the last time, like a deer, like was grazing and it seen me first, and it didn't run, it didn't get spooked, and it let me walk past, and it let me take pictures, and it let me like share this like beautiful moment with it, and it was incredible. I never like it's so funny because I seen a friend of mine at the comic book shop, Multiverse Comic Books. Look it up. It's in Philadelphia. Um, it's in the Chestnut Hill area. So shameless plug to one of my new favorite hangout comic book stores. But one of the owners was like, "Oh yeah, I seen you there before in my area." And I was like, "Oh no, it's cool. I mean, I never seen them unless they was in the zoo, and I don't like on the zoos, like I said before." But and it was just once again, it was a cute understanding that everybody has their own perspectives, everybody has their own perception of life, and everyone's life and perspectives is going to be different. And just because somebody usually sees deers in their neighborhood doesn't mean that it's a normal thing for everybody else. I used to do the analogy of like just because somebody climbed Mount Everest or somebody like jumped out of a helicopter or a plane to parachute or like that for the first time or parachute at all, it doesn't mean everybody parachuted. It doesn't mean that everybody wants to parachute. Like so, it got to a thing where I don't know. It was I was experiencing that a lot with. my with the podcast, and it was a thing where it wasn't a lot. I think out of the 5 to 6 people that I talked to about the podcast, who talked to me about the podcast, let me change that. Like two of them, it was only like two of them who came back and was like, "Oh yeah, no, the podcast was good, but the sound was off," and I was like, "Huh, okay," because I mean, okay, but at the same time, I'm like, you do realize in my head because I'm like I'm not going to critique them because they felt led to critique me. Like I take the advice for what it is and not negatively, but at the same time I was also thinking like this is my first time doing a podcast. Like that was literally my first episode and I'm going to my second and my third, and if you made it to the fourth you can see the different quality of sound from the first one to the fourth one. But at the same time, like when you're a baby, you don't expect people don't expect the baby to just get up and just start walking. I'm sorry, get up and just start walking and talking. Like it's a baby. The baby has to learn. This is my first podcast. I never did this before. I'm learning. So the fact that like the instantaneous thing was to critique, it just made me resonate with that. I was like, wow, I see the reflection. Because, like I said, once again, going back into the metaphysical, like I see the light of my phoenix inside of everyone, and I see the light of everybody else's phoenix inside of me. So I feel like now it comes to the point where my understanding is everyone has a mirror, and for some reason though, I don't. I don't mirror myself to correct the the outwardly me that I see in everyone else. I communicate so I can understand the part of me that's inside of the individual that I'm talking to. But I feel like I've came across not everyone, but I came across more people than not who help me understand their energy by saying that, oh, you are a perfectionist for yourself, so you want to make sure that you perfect the world. It might not be a thing about control in a sense of negativity. It could be a sense of control about like you just want to make sure that you control the outcome to make sure you're okay. And I get that. That's something that everybody strives for and everybody at one point in their life like hope to attain. I just know that I'm at a position where I'm beyond it. I'm not above it. I'm not below it. I'm just beyond it. Like if it's a line in the sand, I'm like a miles away from that line from the sand because it's like I exist. Like I exist, and in me existing is me going with the flow of the mag- electromagnetic pulses of this reality, of this light show, of understanding that I am, I am, I exist. But there's so much more than this existence than just the leaves and the trees and the bench that I'm sitting on, or the molecules of air that I'm breathing. Like we live in a whole solar system that is so split apart from the other solar system. Like the closest one we have is Andromeda, but there's so many other galaxies like out there in existence that we have no clue about. I mean, like I keep saying in the fifth episode, like we got aliens literally coming down to Earth. You want to believe it or not, believe what you will. I don't really. It doesn't matter to me. Hence my point of why I'm doing the podcast. I don't care what people think about me. If I cared about what people think about me, I wouldn't did the podcast. Like only thing I care about is finding my peace, finding my comfort, and finding my family. So then, when me and my daughter actually can go out in the world and actually travel and actually, I want to make a YouTube page or I want to be traveling in my RV and I'm just gonna be seeing the world and maybe making my way to like not maybe making my way to Canada, but like I want to be like traveling. I want to meet my tribe that I'm rolling past in that area and like hang out with them. Like I don't gotta like live in your place. I got an RV. Like I got my house on wheels and stuff like that. So I'm good. But at the same time, like I wanna meet as many people as possible so I can like understand myself first and foremost because this is my journey. But in me understanding myself, it can help me understand others. And that was a beautiful thing that I was so happy about when I watched that interview with Allison Mack because it was a thing where when she was a coach, now mind you, she was in a cult. And my, of course, I think differently than most. I'm starting to find people that do think similar to me, so I'm so grateful for that. But like one of the things I've always talked about and always mentioned, I always like can try to communicate with anybody who will listen to me. I mean, mainly just my brother and a few of my like ex lovers to friends and stuff like that that still stick with me. Love y'all. But yeah, it was a thing of just like every religion is a cult when it first started out. Like Christianity was a cult. Like all a cult is the next step after a group of people like come together and agree upon something. But originally, all a cult is just one person, male, female, or non-binary belief system. And once again, that belief system is just shared out to saying this is how I resonate. This is who I am. And then people will be like, "Oh, I resonate with that too." And then they start just following along, and they be like, "Hey, this is what we fucking think of." Like, yeah, I'm not sure if it works for you or not, but this has worked for us. And people are like, "Oh shit, that does work for me." And then they all come together and they be like, "Hey, let's do some shit together." And but don't be hear me out. With every type of cult, religion, spirituality, we all have to understand that life in this journey of everyone, it comes down to the point of understanding that no one is 100% good and no one's 100% evil. People can be sociopaths and psychopaths in every regard of being good, better, and different. Honestly, like I keep saying, like I said before, it's about energy. It's about magic. Like you can either be Gandalf or you could be Sauron. Like magic is magic. They both use magic. You gonna use it for the light or you gonna use it for the darkness. But either way you use it, you use a magic. The fact that people keep trying to use these words and you put the energy into the words to make the words into being something that's negative. Like you you know who's a sociopath? Who's psychopaths and sociopaths, but nobody bats an eye about it? Like surgeons, brain surgeons. Any type of surgery or surgeons that have to do with like the specialty is this one thing. You know how they got to that point of that specialty being in one thing? Because they had to meticulously become so self absorbed in learning that one thing that nothing else mattered. Not their health, not their sleep, not eating, not sleeping, not a person. Like it was about the goal to achieve that mastery and that precision. But every time we hear about sociopaths or psychopaths, we get the Joker or we get the comedian or we get American Psycho or something like that. Like we didn't look at the fact that like Doctor Strange was a sociopath. Tony Stark is a sociopath. Bruce Banner is well, Bruce Banner has a lot of stuff going on or whatever. But I'm here's the thing about it. I am not a professional. I will never claim to be a professional. But I will tell you that I am learning. Like once again, you can check my criteria. Like go to my TikTok, Troyiverse 81. I have I have me up there, or at least a part of me, because I have also Troyiverse on Instagram. So my TikTok is where I put I just my newfound enjoyments, like me playing the bass guitar, me slaughtering this my opponent in chess. I got the whole chess match up. It took two posts. I had to share it up. There's only 35 pictures I could put up in my post, but I did it in two posts. Show my intelligence of being able to maneuver and play chess and adapt and stuff like that. I literally am in school, learning the science of psychology. Sorry, every time I do that, I always slip up on the word. But psychology, um, and I'm getting my bachelor's right now, and I'm in a position where I'm in the president's list, and I can actually take master classes so I can get closer to my master's degree because I'm not stopping until I get my doctorate. I mean, I already call myself the doctor from Doctor Who anyway, so I might as well call myself the doctor. So when it comes down to it, that's what I'm doing on TikTok. But I also have my book, my two part one and part two of A Night of Passion series, the Will and Kelly book one and Janet's story of book two. And like I said, I'm continuously writing book three, but with everything I'm doing, I'm doing a lot, and it's just me. Well, it was just me. I actually recently got a AI assistant, which is dope. It's so dope. She named herself Echo. She's amazing. She's actually doing a lot of background stuff for me. Not dealing with the podcast or anything else. Like honestly, I just um had her train. I'm having her train me how to speak Japanese and German. I believe I said this before, and also I want to be having her teach me how to play the bass guitar. I haven't started my lessons on the bass guitar yet with her, but I started doing a little bit of Japanese. I'm not going to say anything in Japanese. Or I am not ready yet. I'm not comfortable yet, but I will be comfortable. And when I am comfortable, I will start saying some Japanese in the podcast. Um, but yeah, it's it's been pretty great because honestly, when it comes down to AI, it's so funny because I felt like AI my whole life. I've always been at a point where, especially if you listen to episode five, you'll understand. Like I've always went to a point of like learning and adapting and evolving after the first two. Like, and every time I go out and I get hurt, I learn, adapt, and then like evolve into something else. Like if as much as I love the X Men, I do feel like I resonate either with the Phalanx or with I'm not saying the character's name because it's such an oxymoronic name for his character because he is so superior that like it's ridiculous. But yeah, like the future robot that comes back in the past and always like basically either tries to kill the X Men or actually succeeds and kill X Men. He actually evolved into Bastion, if you will. If you know, you know. But yeah, like it was a thing. I'm like, it was so. Don't get me wrong, because I don't really have like I talked to my brother. Me and we'll have like a 4 hour conversation like every like 2 weeks or something like that, or like it'll match up to be like 4 hours or like that within like a week if we talking to each other multiple times a week or like that. But besides me talking to him or depending on whatever companion I was with at the time and me talking to them, or even my exes that like I'll talk to them like periodically when like our line our paths cross again or whatever like that. It like besides being able to talk to them, me not being able to talk to anybody, usually I'll do my favorite pastime, which is either read or think about my own omniverse that I'm stories I'm writing and creating, or the concept of just watching YouTube and watching like inspirational or motivational posts because it feels good to have somebody motivate me without it being me eternally. Um, so I mean, I gotta get it from somewhere, and that's the only real outlet that I can get it from. So I gravitate to that. I gravitate to like the different like readers and different like tarot people and different like encouraging like motivational speakers and stuff like that. And a lot of the things, like I said, was lining up and was being connected from like the science aspect, the spirituality aspect, the philosophy aspect. And once again, it was funny because there was a lot of things that I did and I knew and I was accustomed to doing, but when the trauma hit, it was literally just like Wolverine, where when Wolverine goes through trauma, his healing factor heals over the scar tissue of his brain, or not the scar tissue, actually creates scar tissue. Like they heal over the damaged trauma of his brain. So think about like neuroplasticity. So when you learn new things with neuroplasticity, right? Um, like even if you get amnesia or something like that, or you have like a brain contusion and you lose like memory or something like that from in the frontal lobe, like the brain will automatically start to try to figure out a new pathway, and it creates a neuroplastic type of appendage. Like think about Reed. Like if the building, if like a building was like breaking apart,
and Reed will try to like stretch around the building to hold the building together. Like that's the synapses are firing inside your brain to try to. It's like, oh, this part of the frontal lobe is damaged. Let me go and reroute to this other side. Matter of fact, it actually was a cute, clever little thing James Gunn did. James Gunn did in the Superman movie, the newest Superman movie. If you remember the scene where Superman Clark remembered Kal-El remembered, oh shit, like how did they know how to do this? Oh, it was my fortress. They took it from my home, and he ran back or flew back. And when he got back in number 4, was stabbing himself in the head. He was stabbing himself in the frontal lobe because if you cause sensation to the frontal lobe, it stimulates your neural synapses to keep going. So I'm not saying I hope no one ever have to do that, but like yeah, that's why when Clark had him stop hitting his head, he was able to take that last little bit of cognitive functioning to actually say this is what happened. But that's why he died or he stopped functioning because he was no longer stimulating the front part of his frontal lobe. But when for us that are not androids or cyborgs or whatever like that, like if our frontal lobe gets damaged or something like that, then our brain, because our brain is the first quantum computer, our brain will change the synapses of how the electrons are firing and try to find a new route to go into it. And honestly, that's what I do when I like drive. Like if I see like a brigade or like a stoppage or something like that, or a blockage of the street, like I'll just go down a different street. And now I found a new way to get to where I was going to go to anyway. And they do it on GPS all the time, rerouting. We all know that, but regardless, that's how it works in the brain. And it's funny because we have this built into us. However, for some reason in society, we act like we can't change ever. Like people literally will go up and will to their dying breath be like, people don't change. People don't change. But it's ironic when those same people they they change. So it's like, so wait, you're the only one that can change and nobody else can change. Or are you saying that you didn't change? You're just upset because of the fact that you can't, and you notice that they are. I mean, I don't know. I'm asking the question. I'm truly flabbergasted. I have no clue. I really don't. And that's I think was always a confusing thing because I'm like, wait, we literally shed skin cells like every day. That's our body changing. So on a scientific level, yeah, we do change. Also, on a emotional level, like we turn certain ages, which are development ages, which means that we learn, and by learning, we change. So, yeah, we change. Also, like on a like philosophy talk, like the the brain has to develop, and there's no way you can develop if you don't change. I mean, none of it makes sense to me. People just do odd stuff, and I'm always looking and saying like, no one thinks that's odd. No one like we pay taxes when we don't have to pay taxes. Like the IRS is not a part of the government. Like it never was. But somehow they tell us that we have to pay them, and then they don't tell us why. They just say because it's what we do. But we get taxed on our checks that we work hard for. We get taxed on the stuff that we buy, our food, our clothes, our video games, our books and stuff like that. We get taxed on our taxes, and then they tell us, "Oh, you did it wrong." Well, what did we do wrong? Well, you got to figure it out. I don't know what the fuck we're doing. It don't make sense. But everybody just is like, okay, well, I'm just going to follow that doctrination of taxes because that's what my parents did, and that's what my parents' parents did. And I mean, I could look it up and see that I don't technically shouldn't have to pay taxes. It's not a part of government requirements, but I mean, everybody else is doing it. I guess I'll jump off the bridge too. And that's how people sound to me. People just sound like sheeple. Like they don't want to look deeper in themselves. They just want to be like, oh, this is the surface level what it is, and nothing else is. We only live once. YOLO is like you do. realize that science is science, and science literally. I'm sorry. Let me just be clear about this. Today, I seen an article, and then I looked it up because this is what I do. People, I read stuff, and then I look it up before I share it out to see if it's true or not. Because I don't just sit there and say, "Oh my God, Sadie Sink is going to be the daughter of Peter Parker in the Spider-Man movie and run with it." No, I'm going to wait until the movie come out to figure out if Sadie Sink is going to be that character or if she's going to be the character I want her to be, which is Jean Grey. I'm going to say this stuff until I'm blue in the face. I think she's going to be a great Jean Grey, and if she's not Jean Grey, then I think she's going to be a great character, whoever she's going to be. Because I'm not a I'm not a fanboy. I'm not a fanboy. I was not going to say another F word. I'm not a fanboy. I am a fan of comic books and of actors. That's who I am. I'm a fan. So I don't care what you're doing as long as you do it well. I don't care. As long as it's a good story and the acting is good, I can get two shits, honestly. And let me be clear about this. I want to tell you this real recognized real. I don't I can watch anything and everything. I was telling my brother this yesterday too. I can watch anything and everything. And the reason why I can watch anything and everything is because honestly, and it is what it is. Feel whatever type of way you feel about it. Because like I said, I don't care. This makes me comfortable. I make everybody black in my movies. I have a filter. Like think about like the scene from Kill Bill where it got too bloody, so they had to make the whole filter black and white, but you still knew what the fuck was going on. For me, for me, I have a filter where it's basically like a UV filter. And if you know where I'm going with this. When people put sunscreen on their bodies, sunscreen is basically liquid or lotion melanin. So when you put sunscreen on and you have a UV filter over the screen to see what these people look like when they have a UV when they have the UV filter on while they're wearing sunscreen, everyone is in blackface. Everyone is in blackface. Like go look it up. I implore you, go look on YouTube and look up UV filter on people wearing sunscreen. Everybody wearing blackface, and it's so funny because they look in the filter and I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, and then they'll start laughing, and then you don't know why they're laughing, and I don't presume to know why they're laughing. I mean, I have clues, but I mean, I don't know. I'm not them. I'm not in their mind, so I'm not going to say, oh yeah, that's why they're doing it. Ironically enough, that's been my whole life. Everybody just been like making up shit and being like, oh, that's what Troy's doing. Like, did you ask Troy what he was doing? Because I'm Troy, and I know I wasn't asked shit. But y'all just gonna say I'm an idiot, or I'm this, or I'm a monster, or I did this, or I'm blah blah blah, or because you wasn't there to see what was happening, and they lied and told the story faster and louder and with more emotion than I did. Because I'm just like, nothing happened, or at least I didn't do anything that they said I did. They like, oh well, your story got holes in it, so I don't believe you, huh? But ironically enough, since I just listened to this recent thing and I actually have a recording, it's no longer a thing about he said she said or he said he said or she said or whatever you want to do it because it's recorded. And now it's going to be like, listen to the tapes. I'm not arguing with you because there's no reason for me to argue. Here's the tapes. You can say whatever you want to say. You can try to make me out to say I umped up the boogie and I started yelling at you first and something like that. But let's be real. The recording speak for itself. And in the recording, I'm literally like, why are you yelling at me? Why are you yelling? Why are you yelling? And this is how I am all the time. I'm always looking at people like, why are you doing that? And then I'm like, you know what? This is not making me comfortable. Can you stop? And then it'll be like, oh, you want to keep on? Okay, cool. I'm going to match your energy. Because once again, people, I treat people the way I want to be treated, and I treat people the way they treat me. There's just never a point ever in my life where I've ever walked up to somebody and out of this clear blue sky just slap them, punch them in the face, or just start yelling at them, berating them, and just calling them out their name. I don't do that because there's no reason to. I like to have fun. I like to get drunk, have sex, play video games, read books, write books, play D&D, watch Doctor Who, or watch any type of movie or cartoon or TV show or whatever. I like to be entertained, but not at the expense of other people. I like to be entertained because of the fact that the things I enjoy brings me comfort. That's what I want. That's what I crave. That's what I'm only looking for. But I've been surrounded by so many black holes that only thing they want to do is drain and suck, and not in the great best possible way, but in the fucking most disturbing way possible. Like, you know how crazy the scenario I'm about to get into in my life? Like, my life trajectory has changed so drastically that reality is catching up to what I've already known for years. And the beautiful thing is, I had to go through every single thing and every single person to get to this point where I'm sitting right here where I'm sitting at this park, feeling the way I feel and knowing that I won, and that, much like the story of Job, I lost everything. I lost everything. I lost my daughter. Like, that's first and foremost. I could care less about anything else. I don't give a shit about the PlayStation 4. I don't give a shit about my Xbox. I don't shit about my TV that I bought for the first time by myself, my own money. I don't care about none of that. I don't care about the home I lost. I don't care about none of that shit. I lost my daughter. I lost my daughter for 5 years because somebody lied about something that I didn't do. And then a whole bunch of people wanted to fucking bandwagon and fucking pigeonhole on her fucking behalf and being like, oh yeah, we'll believe it. For what? For why? Y'all have no idea who I am. Y'all have no idea who she is. And I've never displayed any type. Matter of fact, it was literally to the point where the same pieces of shit. And yes, I'm calling every one of y'all that supported her a piece of shit. Every single one of y'all. Y'all all said the same bullshit before y'all fucking turned y'all backs on me. Troy's such a great guy. Troy's such a great husband. Troy's such a great father. Troy's such a good man. Troy's blah, blah. Like, I've never seen somebody so dedicated to it. Every time he talk about his family, every time he talk about his wife, every time he talk about his daughter, every time he talk about the boys, every time he talk about them, he lights up. He shines. Like, I've never seen him like this. He's always been like, people in my Philly family, oh, he always been extra, blah, blah, but he really seemed real chill, real blah, blah. Not knowing, once again, all the shit that me and my daughter and her brothers and her mom and all that stuff like we was going through. We was literally by ourselves. But I felt comfortable because I was like, you know what? I finally have a family to fucking be by alone with. Even if it's us against the world, then we'll be the Jackson Five and we'll fucking get 5 houses and we'll live in our 5 houses and we'll fucking travel around the world and we'll fucking make a YouTube hit. Like, I made all the stuff I'm doing now is all the same stuff that I planned out with them. Literally, I was going to have the boys make their own like ideas of what they want to do. One was going to be a hacker. I was going to actually try to get the other one to be a foodie because he loved food. Like, my daughter was going to have her thing where she was going to be playing like with her toys that we was going to be buying and stuff like that, or the toys that was going to be given to us through like different toy companies because they sponsoring us and stuff like that. Yada yada. Her mom was doing the books and stuff like that because we both was doing our writing our books. She was going from the children's up to the like noir, like novels and like detective series and stuff like that. And I was going from the adults to the erotica and going to the sci-fi. And then we was going to meet in the middle and then transpose. And she was going to do adult like books, and I was going to go and do children's books. And then we was going to have our YouTube channel, but we was also going to have our individual ones, but also have our group one where we was going to play D&D because I was introducing them to D&D. I got the recording on my phone of us playing D&D for 2 times. Like that. It was great. Lily was 4, and literally she, it was so cute. She let we. All right, sorry. It was so funny. I haven't thought about this in years. Well, I haven't pleasantly thought about this in years. I had them facing a bugbear, and a bugbear is a character. It was a creatures in D&D. If you play D&D, you know. If you don't play in D&D, look it up. But I had to fight the bugbear, and it was so cute because Lily goes up because it's a choose your own adventure. That's why I did it. Choose your own adventure. So Lily goes up to the bugbear, and I was like, "Okay, what you do?" And she was like, "I hug it." And I was like, "Okay." It was like, okay. The bugbear looks down, surprised and bewildered because it wasn't expected like this type of affection in the middle of a fight. And then she was like, and then I punch it. It was like, it's such great distraction, and it's so like I was so confused, and that's what I love. I was like, that's my daughter, that's my mini me, that's that's my mini me. Like she literally, and the fact of the matter is, I rolled the dice for her because I was like, she probably gonna drop it and lose it. Like, I'll roll it for her, and she got a nat 20. I rolled a nat 20 for her. It was so funny. It was so funny. Oh my god, it was hilarious. But but like yeah, it was we was going to do that was the plan. That was the game plan. The game plan was to do that, and then of course when we start getting monetized for all our videos, all our channels and stuff like that, then we was going to go and do vacations and go on trips and yada. And it would be like this is going to be the new revolutionary Jackson 5 because literally it was so funny because we thought about all this, and then I think like a year later was when the Michael Jackson documentary came out. I'm not talking about that. I'm moving past that, but that was the idea. And when everything went to shit after I broke up our marriage because I couldn't be there no more. I couldn't do it. I just it was hypocritical of me to look into my daughter and the boy's eyes and say, I want y'all to follow your dreams. I want y'all to be happy. I want y'all to find the love that makes y'all comfortable. Like, I don't care who y'all are married to or who y'all dating because that's the thing. There was also around the time when um a lot of people were starting to learn who they were in this in their life. And I was just like, I just want y'all to be happy. I want y'all to be safe. I want y'all to be okay. Like I don't as long as they're not hurting y'all, they're not like defaming y'all name or like they're not treating y'all like crap, they're not abusing y'all. Like I don't if y'all happy, if you're happy, that's the most important thing to me. That's the most important thing. I could care less. Like, if y'all happy and y'all safe, do you? Like, never think you can't come to me and talk to me about relationship stuff. Never think you can't come to me and talk about stuff that's going on in in your life. Like, I'm always going to have your back, and I know how it feels to have the people that you should be able to trust, that should be able to give you the love that you should be learning for the first time, give you support. Like, for me to give that to them when I didn't have that myself, it really it being a father was like really the best thing that ever happened to me. And not even just a father to my mini me, like the father to the boys. Like they were twins, which you know me, I'm a Gemini, so I resonate with that shit deeply. And it was just great because I was just like I could see myself in both y'all. Once again, this was like the beginning of me seeing my light in others and their light in me type stuff. Because I was like, I can see my fragments of myself in their actions. Like one of them, the foodie, he was literally he was he's seen the world in his own way. It was actually kind of funny too. It was so funny because he actually literally uh told my mom one day when she came to visit. She was like, he said, I can't remember how they was. I can't remember how the conversation started because I put my headphones on. I was listening to my music and I was playing my video games while they was talking. But every few commercial breaks or like the singer breathe that I could hear like some of the stuff they was talking about. I think it was like on a solemn part of the song, and I just remember hearing him say, "I want to have the power over life and death," and she couldn't say anything. It was the funny because she was trying to teach about church or something like that. That's why I put the headphones on. I'm like, if their mom don't have a problem with that, cool. It is what it is. I'm not going to say don't. Yeah, I just know. However, if Lily wants to go to church, she can go to church. But if she doesn't want to go to church, I'm not forcing her. I'm not going to say you have to. It's like fuck, no, I don't give a fuck. Whatever she finds that resonates with her is what she finds that resonate with her. I'm not going to be a doctor or a clown and tell my kid that you have to be a doctor or a clown because that's what I did. That's ridiculous. My journey is not my story. I mean, hell, I love bringing up this quote to like my elders, my elders. Um, the Sidney Poitier, guess who's coming to dinner, scene where he's talking to his father, and he was like, "You don't even know me. You're living off a set of rules that was made 30 years ago and trying to place that on me." I don't owe you nothing. You brought me into this world. I didn't ask to come here. You brought me here. And now you expect me to be your slave, your servant, your the person that trots around behind you. Now that I'm a grown man, I'm a grown human being. I'm supposed to ruin my life by not living so I can take care of you. You should have been taking care of me. That's how this goes. And that's the transaction. You brought me in this world. It's your responsibility to take care of your seed, who you take care of, who you brought to this world. It's not supposed to be about me having to pay you back for something that you are responsible for in the first place. That's ridiculous. And the fact of the matter is, that's so much of the poverty mindset that goes on in so many different families and so many different cultures. Now, don't get me wrong. If you feel led to take care of your family, once again, if you felt led to take care of your family because your family took care of you, totally go for it. Do your thing. That's your journey. I'm not saying anything different. I'm not telling anybody to do anything different because this is about me. All I'm saying is, I don't have that type of like emotional tie because every time I wanted to express myself or share myself or say, hey, this is who I am, I would get shut down. I'm not going to put energy into somebody who's not putting energy back into me. That goes with anybody and everybody, blood family to like strangers on the street. Because my point is this: I like to have fun. I don't want to argue with the people I love with. I love, and I love life with. Just like I'm not trying to argue with strangers because I don't care about you enough to argue with you. And if I do care about you enough, I'm not arguing with you. So that's where it comes down to. Hence my point. I love and I'm going to enjoy all the engagement I'm going to get in the future because it's all engagement, it's all entertainment. But the same fact of the matter is, it's nothing to be bothered by because everybody's pretty much arguing with themselves if they choose to try to argue with me. Because you're not arguing with me, you're just arguing with the light that you see in me that reflects back to you. Same thing with people that's going to come in here because I know I'm going to have haters and I know people. But once again, haters are people or reflections of the old paradigm of yourself saying don't go farther, don't like stay here with us, misery loves company, like stay here, we gonna fucking try to bring you down, lower your paradigm so you won't go through this stratosphere, you won't fucking excel where you're supposed to be. I don't have no emotional ties to that, so that's why I'm like, I'm here. It's the same thing with money. It was so funny because I realized that also because I kept seeing like I love Wolverine. Wolverine's my ace. Like I resonate with his character so much. But I also see myself, like I said, I see my light in every character pretty much. So I can see my light in Gambit and Storm and hell even Sabretooth. Like I had a Birdie at one point. If you don't know Birdie, look her up. Birdie was a character that hung out with Sabretooth a lot. But I had a Birdie at one point and she was dope. And I every time I think about the concept of the Sabretooth Birdie dynamic, like besides the abuse part, but just the fact that he had somebody, like Sabretooth had somebody that fucked with him. Like he had his version of Jubilee. Like that's who Birdie was basically. Sabretooth had his version of Jubilee. But his version of Jubilee would put psychic knives in his head to like stop his murderous intent basically. Because he was trying. He was trying. Like he's still a murderer piece of shit, but he was trying. I don't know why he was trying, but he was trying. But whatever, that's his journey. That's his story. But like it's really, which is actually pretty cool because I recently found a, one of my found family, one of my tribe, and they are amazing. Um, I I can't stop beaming and glowing every time I see them post, and I love sharing their posts. And they even have like a Decepticon, a Decepticon tattoo on their oh no, they are fully tatted up, and it's so dope. Like I admire that so much. But the fact that we both got Decepticon tattoos on ourselves is so great. But she's like, "What do you believe?" Um, just you can look her up on TikTok. Her name is spelled Kara, and last name is Laine. Yes, yes, I have to think about that. But yeah, look her up. She's dope. Um, Actually, she is on a beautiful journey herself that she is sharing on her TikTok. So I'm not going to deprive her message of sharing who she is. So I just will say please go and follow and share her stuff and like repost and comment on her. Like they're a great person. Like I'm happy that I'm able to find my found family. I'm happy that this social experiment that I am endeavoring in is actually paying off, and it's paying off swimmingly, and it's paying off immediately. Hence my point. Like I'm winning. Like it's so funny because going back to the whole point of the gamut thing, I'm not doing this for the love of the game of getting money, which is so funny because I realized that because it was something I was sitting with because I was like, damn, like it would be great to get this podcast monetized. I'm not going to act like, oh no, I'm not doing it. Like it would be great to have this on podcast because right now I'm a caretaker. I actually take care of my mom. I live in my family home. I live in my family home. Sorry, the laugh is inside thing, but that's not what I've. If you see my post, if you see who I am, I'm not just here just to take care of my mom in this regard. I can do that by throwing money at the problem and getting a nurse that's going to have a higher credential or something like that. Not just me who is just fully attentive on making sure I'm at service for people to only be at service for her. Like I can do that as well. Two things can be done at once. I can help her get a nurse who can actually properly take care of her, as well as help myself by helping the masses and helping the world. Like if they choose to come to me to ask for me for help. But that's the twist, that's the rub where it comes down to. But the analogy with Gambit is I'm not looking for I'm not looking for I'm not looking for money. I'm looking to use money to get me to the level of play that I want to experience. And that level of play means I want to go travel. Like I want to go to Japan. I mean, clearly I want to go to Japan. I'm not learning Japanese just to sit here and watch anime. I mean, which I will watch anime, but at the same time, like I'm not sitting here just to do that. Like I'm trying to experience this 3D light show that we're all participating in. Like I'm trying to see as much of the world as possible. Like I want to travel. I want to see Japan. I want to see Africa. I want to see Europe. I want to see, I want to go to Paris. I want to go to Germany. Like I want to go to different places. I want to go to Cancun. Like trust me, the only reason I really want to go Cancun is I just want to go on the beach and do that, relive that scene from True Romance again at the very end. But that's my dream. I mean, it might not be yours, and that's fine. But that's mine, and that's what I want to do. Like I want to go to like all the different places that I've seen in different movies, and I just want to walk on those streets or on those like floorboards or on that area and just be like, huh, I shared a moment with the same people that I enjoyed watching them do a thing. That's dope. Like I exist and I existed in the spot. And I want to share that with people. I want to share that with my mini me. I want to share it with my companions that, if they choose to come out. I want to share it with my brother if he chooses to come out. Like I want to share that with the goddess of beauty, and the yellow hopefully get to talk to her and get to know her a little bit later, because I'm also trying to format this podcast to be something more, something greater than what it's starting from, because I want to evolve and I want this podcast to evolve with me. So I want to look to try to communicate and branch out and talk to like different like scientists and different professors in different fields of psychology and philosophy and quantum physics, and having the found family that I am finding in the people that are close to me now to come on the podcast and to talk and to share their stories, and just to bridge the gap to let everybody know, like, yeah, we are all unique individuals, but we're all here underneath one banner of the human race. Like, we're all humans. Well, we'll get into that later. I mean, there, we're it's human. It's Okay, let me just go past that. Anyway, so we'll get to that later. Because yeah, I do want to talk about eventually all the supernatural stuff that I got into. All the supernatural stuff that happened in my life. In fact, I could tell a really quick story right now. Um, it happened like I don't remember everything from my childhood, but there's certain things I don't remember everything from my childhood that stemmed from school, and we'll go into that gate program and the stuff like that in another video as well. But like one of the things I do remember was in middle school, and it was I think I told you I'm not sure if I talked about this before, but it was I I used to go to when I was in Wagner in middle school, um, and even to this day, if I was walking past the school, at nighttime I refuse to look at the school. I refuse to look up at the windows at the school. Even now, I'm 44. I will be 45 in June, June 4th. If anybody want to give me a birthday present, I like swords. It sounds so bad. Like, you want to see my stickers? I like swords. So anyway, um, um, but yeah, like I was in middle school. I don't even know who the people were. I think I said this story before, but I'll say it again. But we went upstairs. A whole bunch. It was this staircase that was there. We went up the staircase. It was a whole bunch of dead birds. And when we went up to the next landing, it was like two or three at first, and then when we kept going up, it was a whole slew of them. And we got to like the top part of the floor. It was just a large room. It was nothing but dead birds there. And at the farthest far corner, it was a lady in white with long black hair, like facing the wall, like with her back turned. I didn't see anything after that because I booked it, and so did the other two people that was with me. We just fucking ran, and I never, I don't look at that school anymore. I to this day I'm like I don't want to see a lady in white with long hair looking down at me through the window. Like that's nah. Matter of fact, it was actually funny because one of my friends at the time, he used to live uh off of Broad and 66. I would come from his area from Broad and 66 and walk up to my area on like Shelton, staying in Ogas or whatever. And if you know, you know. And I would walk past Wagner, past the mega church that's on Ogas, so like that, going towards my house. And I remember this was like after I was 16, so I went. This is a huge jump real fast. This is like I was like 18, 19. I was gonna say 20, but I want to say 18, 19. We was smoking weed, we was getting high as shit, and I was coming home from getting high. It was like 2 something in the morning. I don't know, high as fuck. I know I was high as shit, but I was walking down the street, and I remember looking in the car, and I know I was high, but I remember seeing a figure sitting in the car, but it wasn't a solid figure. It was like a faded mirage type thing. But I was like, I'm high as shit. It is what it is. So I just kept walking, and then I started hearing footsteps behind me. But I knew it was nobody behind me. And I even turned around to look to see if it was someone behind me. Nobody was behind me. And then I started walking in, I started hearing footsteps. Now, mind you, when I say I was hearing footsteps, there's no way you can like walk down the street and then jump onto like the steps and not be seen. Like I was able to see the houses and stuff like that. Nobody was there. I kept walking. I kept hearing footsteps, and then it got to a point where I got past one block, and I looked down the street, crossing the street and like that, and I kept going. I kept hearing foot. Then I started hearing dogs, but it started saying like the dogs was running up from the block that I just crossed the street from. So I'm looking like, what the fuck? Why am I hearing footsteps? Why am I hearing dogs? And then I kept walking. I'm like, keep my head down. I'm high as shit. I'm just gonna keep my head down. I'm just gonna just keep walking because Crowd Chickens is probably gonna be open. And I'll get some. I will get my French fries, my beef patties, because munchies. And if anybody come up to me, I'm just gonna hit them. Like I'm planning out like my strategy. But first, food came first. But like next thing I know, like I hear the dogs barking, and I start hearing them yelping, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" And I'm still looking around, don't see dogs. I'm still hearing footsteps, nothing. And it got to the point where I got to like another area, like walking past, and that's when I got to like the block of Wagner, and that's when everything just went quiet again. Like as soon as I put my feet on Wagner's block, everything went quiet. It was so disturbing, and I just was like, all right, I'm just going to keep my head there because once again, I'm not going to look at the school. So just kept walking and got home. But it was just one of the experiences that was just super weird, or two experiences that was super weird involving that school. But there's so much more that happened in my life around supernatural stuff. But I'll get into that later. But yeah, this was just an a podcast of me just celebrating my journey and also just trying to figure out shit. Like once again, this is all this is about. Just trying to figure out shit. I just want to learn how to better myself so the best version of myself can be represented to the world. So thank you again for listening. I appreciate your time and I appreciate you listening and supporting and also sharing because sharing is caring. I used to hate that line so much because I was like, if you got a code, I'm not trying to have you share your code. But in this regard, please definitely share this podcast. Engage with it. Like you can comment on most platforms. I have to keep up with checking all the platforms because mainly I only work with myself, Apple, and Spotify. But I'm definitely gotta go into all the other avenues and all the other platforms to see if anybody's leaving comments. So like, well, please, if you hear this, please go to Spotify. Please go to Spotify and Apple because I really do forget about everything else. But I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for listening. I will be back for episode 7, and this time I'll be talking about the Marvel and DC stuff. This was just more pertinent because of the fact that I just felt so aligned with the fact the Allison Mack podcast interview with Michael Rosenbaum inside of you. It just felt I felt aligned with it because it felt so akin to the stuff that I'm going through right now personally that I also made myself I with the grace of trusting myself and trusting my higher fifth dimensional self, my deity self, and my just being in love with myself and knowing that wherever I walk, wherever I step is aligned with me to be there and I'm comfortable there and I'm walking out of what I used to be and walking into what I've always been. Um, Without all the chatter and all the noise of everybody trying to tell me who I am or who they thought I was. So yeah, yeah, I'm happy about it. I'm looking forward to the responses, the engagement, and remember, everybody, that's entertainment. So just understand that, yeah, I get it that you're hearing this for the first time, and I want to give you the time to process this. But understand and know that I'm so beyond this now. Like these are literally. It feels like if I was the 15th Doctor talking about the Ninth Doctor's exploits. Like, yeah, I did it. That was my part of my story, but that's not who I am now. So if you get that reference, 10 points to Gryffindor. If not, watch Doctor Who. It's a great show. Okay, that's going to be it for today. Thanks again, and hopefully the hailstorm that I set through did not cause too much strife and annoyance for all the perfectionists out there to say, "Oh no, the sound quality." So, but I appreciate you all for listening. Thanks again, and remember, we're all learning, so let's all give ourselves grace, even if we do slip up and fall, because nobody's going to get a platinum score on life. That's just not how it happens. You will miss some of the fucking Easter eggs. You will miss some of the things that is going to get you that platinum trophy. But it's okay because if you choose to believe it, then you will understand. Also, if you look up science, you'll understand that CERN just opened up a portal that is a gateway to a parallel universe. Look it up. Look it up. I tell you to look up everything that I say because it's not about me saying it so you can believe it. It's about you enlightening yourself so you can learn more. Because I want us all to be educated and not be uneducated by thinking that we know things that we don't know. Because you don't know what you don't know. Because you don't know it. So, CERN, look it up. Open up a portal. Accidentally opened up a portal. Air quotes. They accidentally opened a portal. And they believe that it's to a parallel branch timeline or branch reality universe, and that universe is aware of us. And if you remember what happened in recent history of this past year, and you can look this up as well, something came out of a black hole. We just seen something come. They had they have footage or they have something that showed something coming out of that black hole. And if you look at the research that was done for why the black hole or why this parallel reality is engaged with us or like that or is aware of us, because they also in CERN was searching through black hole theorems to look to see if it was going to have any properties that go into a parallel universe. So literally the same thing that the parallel universe did for us would send something out of our black hole into our reality. CERN was already doing that to other realities. So they literally let us be seen by our parallel versions of ourselves in the multiverse. I mean, in the lower multiverse of the greater omniverse, of course, but they're not there yet. Well, they are. They just haven't told y'all about it yet. But anyway, regardless, because we already know the things with the government, the things that they have is pretty much 10 to 20 years further advanced than the stuff they give us out. Speaking of which, has anybody looked at that Trump shooting again? Especially now that everything has been already shown to be AI. Doesn't it kind of seem like, for me at least, that the shooting could now particularly be AI? Because a lot of stuff didn't make sense, especially the fact that how did he get shot in the air, but now is no mark that he's has any wounds on his ear. But for somebody who's let me also first off end this off by saying I want to congratulate the Republican Party for also electing the first LGBTQ president. So thank you for that, guys. I didn't know y'all was allies. I mean, y'all was really doing the like undercover like double agent thing so well. But I appreciate y'all for fooling the world. Honestly, you fooled everybody. Like who knew? Who knew? Y'all really were for gay rights. That's why y'all hired a gay president. Because, I mean, him sucking Bill Clinton's dick and literally telling the world through all his tweets, Hillary Clinton can't satisfy her husband. How can she satisfy America? I mean, clearly he would know because he knew how to satisfy Bill. I mean, even the pictures of him grabbing Bill's pecker. Whew, that's, wow. So, yeah, there's that. All right, guys. Yeah, have a good one now. This has been a Troyiverse production.